In 1961, as a freight carrier sailed the waters near the Bahamas, they stumbled upon something they never thought they'd see. In the distance, they spotted a young girl on a cork raft, barely clinging on to her life. They began to wonder how she ended up floating along the Atlantic Ocean, and what she would share with them would shock everyone.
Hello, story lovers. I'm Jamie Buck, and here is...
This little girl was found adrift at sea. Decades later, she revealed the horrifying truth.
Before we move on, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notifications bell for new amazing videos.
11-year-old Terry Jo Duperrault and her family set off on a trip that was supposed to be the most memorable of their lives, but instead it would turn out to be their worst nightmare. Her father, Dr. Arthur Duperrault, was an eye doctor from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and was ready to take his family on an adventure. Her mother, Jean, was ready for the trip they had been saving up for years. They brought along their 3 children, Brian 14, Terry Jo 11, and Renee 7, hoping to show them the time of their lives. They were going to start out from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, renting a 60-foot yacht to take them all the way to the Bahamas. Bluebell needed a full-time captain, and that was the well-trained Julian Harvey. On November 8, 1961, the family set out, excited for what they were about to experience. The captain had brought his wife, Mary Dean, along for the ride, and for the first 4 days, everything went according to plan. The first leg of the trip, the Bluebell set off towards the islands of Bimini, heading east. They also visited Sandy Point, a lovely community on the island of Great Abaco. There they had a chance to snorkel and enjoy the gorgeous beaches the island had to offer. While at Sandy Point, it's reported that Arthur spoke to the village commissioners, Roderick W. Pinder. He told him this was a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. We'll be back before Christmas. Little did he know, he wouldn't live that long. On the evening of November 12th, Terry Jo decided to go to bed early after a long day of adventures. As she laid her head down to rest, she never would have expected to wake up to an unimaginable scenario. A few hours later, she woke up to her brother screaming. Nearly 50 years later, Terry, who now goes by the name Terry Duperrault Fassbender, opened up to Fox News about the horrible event. "I was awakened by my brother screaming, 'Help, Daddy, help,' she said. It was the type of scream that you know that something horrible is happening." It turns out Captain Harvey had a checkered past and had ominous plans for this trip. He had planned to murder his wife, throw her overboard, and report her lost at sea. Months earlier, he had taken out an insurance policy on her, and now he was trying to cash in. Harvey was no newbie when it came to losing a wife. His previous wife died in a horrific car accident which he survived. He also had received insurance money for a yacht and powerboat that sank. It turns out he was a terrible person who was now about to do something much worse. While Dr. Harvey was attempting to kill his wife, Dr. Duperrault saw the entire altercation and tried to help Dean. Harvey ended up killing them both, and then went on to kill the rest of the family because they witnessed the crime. Terry Jo was spared, only because she was sleeping. When Terry Jo awoke, hearing her family's screams, she saw them lying in a pool of blood. Knowing they were dead, she emerged from the cabin to see what was going on. Unfortunately, she went to the very person who caused all the horror. Harvey pushed her back down into the cabin where she stayed, hiding and frozen with fear. She didn't leave that spot until she noticed something that would cause her to panic even more. The cabin started filling with water, and she knew she had to do something to survive. Confused and terrified, Terry left the cabin where she came into contact with Harvey again. He gave her a rope to hold on to. Many think it was to distract her while he tried to kill her. However, then something happened. As the open valves caused water to rush into the boat, time was ticking. Terry Jo, even in her young mind, knew she couldn't trust Harvey. She didn't hold on to the rope, so Harvey's final plan was ruined. Her friend Logan speculated what was about to happen and shared his theory with Fox. When he saw her on deck, he realized, "Oh my God, there's a possibility that she might survive. I better kill her." So he went forward to get a knife and something to kill her. But she did not hold on to the line. She immediately dropped the rope, sending the life raft out to sea. Seeing his only escape vessel floating away, Harvey dove in after it and left her alone on a sinking ship, but alive. She was terrified, but she was determined to survive. With minutes to spare, Terry Jo found the cork life raft, jumped onto it, barely escaping the sinking ship. Traumatized and in shock, she was unsure of what the future would hold for her. But she was alive, even if just for now. Her only hope of survival was being noticed by a passing ship, an unlikely scenario. The nights almost froze her to death, while the daytime left her skin severely burned. She was dehydrated and starving, and it was clear there wasn't much time. One day, a strange creature had passed right beneath her, terrifying her even more. Luckily, it wasn't a predator, but a pod of porpoises just curious as to what was going on. An aircraft even flew right over her but didn't notice the desperate little girl. She thought she would never be found, but fortunately, her luck changed. Just as the elements were causing her to hallucinate, the crew on board of the Captain Theo rescued her. She had a fever of 105 and was so near death she had lost consciousness. One of the crew members managed to snap a photo of her upon rescue, a photo that would hit the headlines of almost every news outlet. 3 days before Terry Joe was rescued, Harvey was found on his float along with the dead body of Terry's 7-year-old sister, Renee. He claimed that a storm had caused a fire which eventually capsized the boat, also stating that he attempted to save the child but was unsuccessful. His story obviously didn't match Terry's account of what went down, and authorities were ready to make their move. Before they could, they found his lifeless body in his hotel room. Harvey had taken his own life. Eventually, Terry Joe's family was able to memorialize their loved ones that were lost that tragic night. The Fort Howard Memorial Park in Wisconsin is where the plaque is located, and it states, "In memory of the Arthur W. Duperrault family, lost off the Bahama Isles, November 12, 1961. Found in the hearts of their loved ones, dwelling forever with him who is eternal life. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Terry Joe went back to Wisconsin and lived with her aunt and 3 cousins. She never got over the horrific events that went down that cruel night, but she did move on. Over 20 years went by before she spoke of the horror she survived. After opening up to a few friends, she decided to receive counseling to try and put the unimaginable behind her. Then she decided to co-author a book detailing her account called Alone, Orphaned on the Ocean. The book was finally published for the public in 2010. People from her past came to see her at her book signings, apologizing for not doing more for her. We had a book signing last month, and some of my teachers from 49 years ago showed up, just to see that I was all right after all these years. They said they were sorry for not being able to talk to me and help. In those years, they were told to pretend like it never happened. I learned to live with staying quiet.
Did you like the story? Check out our channel for more.